We felt like that we improved as a football team after watching the tape from the Arizona game. Offensively, we were more efficient. Brandon really did a good job of setting his feet and had a good feel for what we were trying to accomplish and taking what the defense gave us. Defensively, we tackled fairly well. I thought we were in the right spot for the most of the game. Gave up a couple big plays on a stutter move. One time we had a blitz called and didn't get the blitz executed and put the corner on an island for a while. And then in the kicking game, the 3 penalties is uncharacteristic for us. Those are things that we have to eliminate in order to be a good football team in that area. So it was a good win for us. Looking forward to this week. It'll be a good challenge for us playing down the road here against Tulsa. And obviously they played very well last week. Their defense has been in the right spot and making plays. And, of course, you guys know the quarterback's a good player, and they're going to play fast and spread it around. And so should be good for both schools. Should be a lot of people there and a lot of excitement when we kick it off. If everybody can stay awake until 9 o'clock. Should be a good setup.
Les Miles went on record as saying he hated the Tulsa game, and he and Terry Dunn pulled the plug on the series. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that series?
Well, obviously I'm okay with it because we've had it set up for a few years now, and as I said a year ago, I think that it's good that we have an opportunity to play down the road, and gives them a chance to fill up their stadium and gives us a chance to fill up our stadium. I think it's good for college football when fans can get to a game fairly easy. Everybody's so busy now with their own life that with kids and such, that if they can get to a ball game and enjoy it, I think it's good for college football. So we're in favor of playing it.
I mean, but on an occasional basis or much more frequently than that?
Well, I think that all depends on what league we're going to be in the future. 2, which way we decide to go based on our road games. It's too early to say right now. We had some guidance last year. Right now, I'm not sure that we have enough to really say what's best for Oklahoma State. If there's a chance we can play it, to answer your question, I'm not against playing the game.
But isn't there more value in Oklahoma State playing at Tulsa than in any other road game you would ever play?
Value.
Because of the market. Because there's so many OSU people in Tulsa.
Well, I think it's really good for Oklahoma State people. They can get to the game. There's such a big following in the Tulsa area that it becomes another home game for them. Essentially, they can get there easy, 20, 30-minute drive, and I'm guessing they'll be tailgating with their friends. So it's very fan-friendly.
Mike, what about the 9-10 kickoff? I asked Bill Young a little bit ago, and he's been around this business as long as anyone, and he can't remember ever starting a game that late.
I don't remember starting one that late myself. I mean, we all know that television and money is dictating when we kick games off. And so, I just heard Kevin say that we play A&M at 2:30 or 7. And it doesn't matter what I think. We're going to go down and kick it off whenever somebody else tells us to do it. So our players understand that. We adjust our schedule, our travel schedule, and try to put ourselves in the best position to play well at 9-10.
Would you talk about that travel schedule and will you travel game day, and will you practice late this week to simulate a late night? Or?
No, they're in classes now, and their schedules are set, and some of them have night classes after our practices. And some of the players that are in upper level classes, it's hard to adjust your schedule to a night schedule. We were able to do that last week because it fell on a Monday for us, so it worked to our benefit. But we can't adjust practice times, and we will travel over that night before. We'll get over there at 7 o'clock or something like that, let them go to school Friday, and do all of our walkthroughs and eat our meal and everything here, and then travel over that evening.
Coach, you've won 5 straight on the road. Anything you can attribute that to specifically?
Well, one, we've got pretty good players. That helps a lot. And I think our guys understand working together. We've had good leadership and maturity at key positions, and the other players have kind of fallen in line with what the mature and experienced players expect, and it's worked out well for us.
Mike, back to the late start. Is there anything you could anticipate that would be different, other than some bleary-eyedness that would physically take part in that game playing so late?
With 18, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old kids, they're okay with it. The coaches are the ones that struggle. I mean, you get around 9, 10, it's about time that in most cases that I'm going to leave the office, and at 10 o'clock I'm asleep. So I would think the adjustment would be for the staff and obviously the fans. There'll be a big adjustment for them. Our return time to Stillwater's ETA's 3 a.m. It's going to be a 4-hour game, time you get in there and out and leave. So it spills over into to an early Sunday morning for the coaches, and then the players will sleep in and they'll come in later. But there is some effect for a week or two. Late nights like that can affect you.
How big is a game like this for you, recruiting-wise? There's a lot of players in Tulsa have come to OSU. A lot have to choose between those two schools. How big is it for your program?
Well, they're all big now. And I've mentioned this the last few years. Questions that will come up on, is this a big game, or the Tulsa game, or a conference game? They're all big now because they're all on TV. And everybody knows about every game. All you got to do is go online. And so the days of playing a television game and people seeing you for recruiting, that particular game being bigger than the other, they're all big now because everybody sees everything that we do.
Mike, you guys jumped on Tulsa pretty good last year. What, as you looked at their defense this year, anything different, or are they pretty similar with what they were doing last year now that Bill's the head coach over there?
There's a few changes with what Coach Guy has. More what we have been accustomed to and Coach Graham was a little more variety to what he had done. Now they've only played 2 games, and so we have just a little bit to go on, but we see a lot anyway. Our offense over the last 10 or 12 games has seen just about every down front and every blitz and stunt and every linebacker fire that you could see. So we see a lot. So we just kind of have to base our game plan on what we project them to do and then adjust as the game goes on.
What are your thoughts about Bill Blankenship through the years? I mean, he was coaching high school ball when you played high school ball. What are some of your recollections or memories of his legacy as he's established?
Well, he's very well known in this state. Bill's a first-class person and a good football coach. And Coach and I used to do a camp together in the early 90s when he was at Union, and I had just started coaching here. And we worked together in that camp for several years, and he's obviously done very well, and I have a lot of respect for him as a person, not only as a coach.
The crackback flags you got the other night, has there been more clarity on that? Because it seems like that can be a very confusing rule.
What's interesting is I watched some games on and off throughout the weekend, and it's been called quite a bit. And without having the tape to run back, I'm not sure if some of it was called on the perimeter that we had or it was just inside. I think a mixture of both, but I did notice I saw it called more across the country than I've seen. And so the rule has changed, and obviously it's something. Well, there's 2 things that are happening. One, there's a difference based on where the offensive player starts. Okay, I now can speak intelligently about this because I found out. Second thing is that they've made it a point to watch for it, so that's why you're seeing it called more. But in some of the tape that we've seen, crossover tape from other games, it's not been called. So, and I don't know who's to blame for that. I don't know if it's the new rule. I don't know if some officials aren't seeing it as much as others. But I only know that our coaching staff is to blame for what did get called because we didn't do a good job of instructing to our players the rule change and how much of a point they were going to make of it. And I think that that's taken place as of last Friday. We'll review it again tomorrow. But it is considerably different than what it has been in the past.
You guys face some really good quarterbacks in the Big 12, obviously. When you look at G.J. Kinney down in Tulsa, does he kind of fit in that mold as well?
He is. He's experienced. He's level-headed. He's athletic. He can throw it, and he can move around and make plays. And he's a dangerous player. He's a good player. I've said this before. I've never coached in the NFL nor seen draft boards, but I would think he's going to get a chance to play beyond this level. If somebody said you had to make a prediction, I'd predict yes.
We talk a lot about maturity on your offensive side, especially with Brandon. With that in mind, do you make an issue at all of last year's outcome to make sure that they're not overlooking them, or is it just last year is last year and you don't even think about it?
We've discussed that with our players each week, and we talked about it throughout the season because they started the season so highly regarded that if they don't prepare well Sunday through Friday, and you hear me say that a lot, but I'm a firm believer in preparation's a lot more important than actually what happens on a Saturday. Saturday, you got to ask them to go play hard and have some fun, but if they've prepared well and they've absorbed information that's going to help them on Saturday, then you have a chance to win. And so I hope that they understand the importance of each week is basically a one-game season. And that's the beautiful thing about college football. That's why it's so attractive, and that's why so many people want to see it, and there's so much interest across the country. It's because every single game each week is important. And if you just reflect back on what happened over the weekend, and we talked about it last night at practice, last night, that there were teams that on paper may have been better and still lost the game. And so that helps with trying to get them prepared for the next week.
Coach, Jeremy Smith, despite not being the featured back, has been in the end zone 6 straight games getting to last year. What makes him touchdown maker?
Well, Jeremy is coming in fresh and running really hard. And he's one of the young men that I talk about that's really changed his mental approach to the game in 12 months. And he enjoys playing football, and he's bought in, and he's grown up. And a success story even up to this point. And so I really see both of those guys the same in my mind. Now I know Joe's got more carries and more yards, but when the other one's in, it doesn't concern me. And so if you remember, 6 weeks ago or 8 weeks ago, I mentioned that I want those two to be able to give us more than what one Kendall Hunter did, because the other one can stay fresh. And so when Jeremy comes in, he's fresh, and you have a defense that may have already played 30, 40, or late in the game 50, 60 plays, and so their body is starting to taper down, and he's fresh and he's running through them. And we like him in that situation because he's pretty powerful. He's low to the ground, and he's 210 pounds.
During the time that he was wondering here on campus if this was really the place for him, had some second thoughts and stuck around, he said you were the guy that kind of talked him off the ledge. Did you preach patience to him, or what did you guys talk about?
Oh, I don't know if he's probably giving me more credit than it's worth, but I think the thing with young people in his situation is what are you going to do? I mean, if you go home and you decide you don't want to be a part of Oklahoma State football or Tulsa football or anything else, or for that matter, even a student, what if you don't want to go to school tomorrow at Oklahoma State? What are you going to do? You better have a plan. And I think he was smart enough, along with his mother, who really reinforced it during that time, that she told him, you're not coming home. And so that's the first step in helping a coach to say, you need to push this through. And I think he realized that. And if you talk to him at some point, if he ever opened up about it, I think he's really thankful that he decided to fight through it, because he's a good kid that was just having a hard time. We all go through it. It's part of life. And maybe when he got home, he thought, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to pay for school. I'm going to have bills, be paying loans back for 10 years. I got a free education, a chance to be a part of a team. It's a pretty good setup. So I think that was as big a factor as anything.